Hi, this is Andrea Kane, and I'm here with you for HIT 330 Healthcare Delivery Systems. This video is specific to week 12 for the assignment on Chapter 5 application exercise. So I have that up here on my screen, and I want to walk through what this is going to look like and how you're going to do this. So let's take it step by step. The first thing it says is search the internet and locate information on the common clinical data set. So I've already done that. I'm going to click here on this tab, and you can see here I typed in common clinical data set. It brought up the first website is the one that you want. It's 2015 edition common clinical data set through www.healthit.gov. So let's click on that and bring it open. So that's the first step that you want to do, is you want to go out to this website. Okay, now I want to go back here to your assignment. It says you're going to determine which clinical terminologies, classifications, and code systems that were mentioned in this chapter are used for individual data elements. So let's break that down. Which clinical terminologies, and this starts on page 126 in your book, and it lists SNOMED and CPT, and there's also nursing, but they're really looking at SNOMED and CPT as your clinical terminologies in this chapter. In terms of classifications, they're talking about ICD-10 CM and ICD-10 PCS. Those are the two that we're going to talk about that are in your chapter. I will tell you right now, you don't need to include ICF or ICDO. Or DSM-5. That's not going to be what we use for this. But so you've got those. They are classifications. They are in our chapter, but I don't think you'll be using them below. That's a hint for you. So you can mentally cross off classifications here. I'm going to give you that hint up front to make your life easier. Code systems. That starts on page 141, and it includes LOINC, RX norm, HCPCS level 2, and those are the ones that we'll be talking about. So you're going to look at, when you're looking at common clinical data set, which clinical terminologies and code systems, only the ones that are mentioned in this chapter, are used for individual data elements. So let's go back to the Health IT website. So this goes down here, and the first thing we see that's mentioned, it'll tell you what they use, but they will also tell you what it's for. So smoking status must be coded in one of the following SNOMED CT codes. Did we have smoking status on here? Yes, we did. And it told us you have to use SNOMED CT. What is SNOMED? If you go back to page 126, 127, you'll see that SNOMED is a clinical terminology. So over here, under smoking status, you're going to want to put in SNOMED CT and fill that in. This table is here as an example. You can, I don't know that you can copy it. I don't think you can copy it, but what you can do is recreate it. You can create a spreadsheet that has these 4 columns: criteria, clinical terminology, classification, and code system. And you can put these data elements in, and you don't have to do all the detail. You can just put vital signs and those types of things. And then you figure out, we already know that there's not going to be anything for classifications because I gave that away for you. So you can go ahead and either eliminate that column or leave it blank. But for smoking status, this first one that I walked you through here at healthit.gov is it has to be coded in SNOMED. So on your spreadsheet, you'll put SNOMED CT right here where it says smoking status and clinical terminology. And then you'll go through and do the rest. So what you're trying to do is go through here, and it gives you all of the elements just like in your spreadsheet, and it will tell you if there are any particular ones. So we're not talking about HL7, so you can keep going. Okay, it doesn't talk about anything here. You don't see any of the ones that we talked about in our book until you get down here and you see SNOMED. SNOMED. So that's what you want to do is identify that it's SNOMED. Look back at your book at chapter 5 to see, is it a clinical terminology or is it a code system, and then put it in your table. And so you just keep going down and you identify what you're finding. Okay, so this table right here, this 2015 edition reference, that is the same table as what's in your assignment. And your job is to identify if these elements are mentioned in the common clinical data set, is there a clinical terminology or code set mentioned, and if so, which one is it? And so that's why you would put the answer. And if there is no answer or no mention of it, for instance, under patient name, there's no mention of a classification term or a clinical terminology or a code system, then you're going to leave it blank. And so what you do is you replicate it, you fill it out, and this allows you to compare and contrast, just to look, just to see what gets filled in and by what. Is it clinical terminology and a code system, or clinical terminology only, or code system only? Once you have all of this information filled in from your website, then you're going to draw conclusions. And you may not be able to draw any conclusions once you fill it out, but just do your best. If you think there are conclusions, then write those up. If you think there are no conclusions, put that in your paper and explain why. That you don't see a pattern, or you don't see a trend, or you don't see something consistently. And you can go back to the website and look at other articles about the common clinical data set, and you can use those to explain your position. So you can do that. So what I'm looking for is that you're going to turn in an informal paper that has this table on it. It has the filled in answers as appropriate based on this common clinical data set over here. Back to the website. And then after your table, you're going to give me a short paragraph of, say, 5 to 7 sentences that talk about conclusions and explain why you came to that conclusion. And again, if you use any outside references, please make sure you cite those at the end of your paper. And it's an informal paper, but I do want to see this table filled out as appropriate. It won't be completely filled out because, as you saw with healthit.gov, you don't have anything for number 1. You don't have anything for number 2. You don't have anything for number 3. So over here, you're not going to have anything over here for 1, 2, or 3, or whatever those elements are. Okay? So that's what I'm looking for, and that's what I need you to do. Hopefully this is helpful, and it's really just a matter of getting you thinking and being able to go out to the internet, find information, create a table, and then tell me what you thought about what you were doing. And hopefully utilizing some other references to help you with your thoughts there at the end. This is not a major paper. This is not something that's APA format or anything like that. It's really just an introduction, if you want to put an introduction in there, the table, and then your conclusions and any references. It's meant to be a simple assignment that maybe takes you 45 minutes to an hour max. So good luck. And if you have any other questions, reach out to me. Thanks. Bye.